Welcome back. Students, we were discussing in the kingdoms of wholes of movement sections, lessons 4 of class 9. So, we shall proceed ahead today from where we left. So, see, you are right, the case depends. We must look into it. It is not easy to judge such complicated cases. Let's get the dancers whenever she is. So what happened? You see, children, then the bricklayers was summoned, and the bricklayers told over there that it was not his guilty, it was the guilty of the dancer who was moving along the road up and down, and it is because of her he could not keep his mind and heart and eyes on the work he was doing, but his mind and his heart and his eyes were there on the dancing girl who was moving along the road up and down. So you see, listening these words from the bricklayers, the king ordered his men to bring that dancing girl, or to bring the dancers to the royal court. So then what happened, you see? The dancing girls, now an old man, came trembling to the court. Did you walk up and down their streets many years ago while this poor man was building a wall? Did you see him? And you see, this is what the question of the king to that woman. Now, who is the old one, and it was asked to her that whether she was moving along the road up and down at the time when she was very young and was attracting to the mind of the people there. And she was also asked that whether she could see that bricklayer. Then what reply she gave before the king, that we shall see it here. So say, yes, my lord, I remember it very well. And you see, the dancing girl or the dancer who is now an old woman, she did not deny, but she accepted that yes, that she had seen that bricklayer while working or while building that wall, and she was moving up and down, and for what reason she was moving, it is not known till yet. I will see it in the next paragraph. And for which reason that woman was being here and there, that means moving up and down along the road, that we shall see it here. So you did walk up and down with your anklets jingling. You were young and you distracted him, so he built a bad wall. And you see, the dancing girl at the time, she was a young one. She was looking most beautiful, and she was wearing her anklets, and she was moving along the road, and she was distracting. That means she was attracting the minds of the people towards her by moving up and down. So then what happened is here, she confessed this. And the king cleared over the air that it is because of you. This man could not build the wall properly, and that had fallen upon a poor man, and he is dead. So then what the dancing girl is telling about that, let's see here. It has fallen on a poor burglar and killed him. You have killed an innocent man, and you will have to be punished. This is what the word of the king towards that old woman who was a dancer in her youth. She thought for a minute and said, "My lord, wait. I know now why I was walking up and down that street. My lord, wait a minute. Please wait a minute. Right now I know why I was moving along the road, up and down. I know it, yes. I am explaining you, and you see, and that woman, that old woman who was a dancer in her youth, pleaded before the king to be wanted over there for a minute. Okay, and you see, for what reason she was moving up and down that road on the time, and she is going to explain before the king. Listen. I had given some golds to the goldsmiths to make some jewelry for me. He was a lazy scoundrel. He made so many excuses. Said he would give it now and he would give it then. And so on all day. He made me walk up and down to his house a dozen times. There was when this bricklayer saw me. It is not my fault, my lord. It is the demon goldsmith's fault. So you see, the dancer now, who is an old woman, she is explaining before the king for what reason she was moving up and down a dozen times. And she remembers, she recollects her past, and she is explaining before the king that she had given gold to the goldsmith to make jewelry for her. But that goldsmith was a lazy scoundrel. That means a lazy, an idle one, and scoundrel. And that old lady is telling that goldsmith as a scoundrel. That means a wicked fellow. He made her up and down on the road because she did not deliver that jewelry that was ordered by the woman in time, and she was told by that goldsmiths to come and down the road a dozen times, you see here. That means she did not behave, the goldsmith did not make her jewelry, and he was giving time her now and then. And whatever time that was given by that goldsmith, that much time, that many time, she was being up and down there. And then what happened? And while being up and down of the domain, the bricklayer saw her. And it is not my fault, my lord, it is the Daman goldsmith's fault. And she is explaining before the honorable king that it was not her fault, it was the fault of that goldsmith who made her up and down a dozen times. Poor thing, she is absolutely right. And you see, listening such type of words from the mouth of that old lady, the king considered upon her word that she was right here. Poor things, she is absolutely right, thought the king, weighing the evidence. And whatever evidence he got from that old lady, and to his consideration, he thought that the lady was right. It was not the fault of that lady. It was not the fault of that lady. Then see, we have got the real culprit at last. Get the goldsmiths wherever he is hiding at once. And listening such type of words from the mouth of that lady was the dancer's inner you, and he declared over there that finally he got the culprit, and he ordered to bring that culprit, that means that goldsmiths, to the royal court. The king's believes searched for the goldsmith who was hiding in a corner of his shop. When he heard the accusations against him, he had his own stories to tell. Then what happened, you see? The king's believes searched for the goldsmith, and they found him hiding in a corner of his house, and he was brought there to the royal court. And when he reached over there, he had his own stories, and he made the king to listen his story there. So let's listen the story of that goldsmith here. Milord, he said, that means the goldsmith said over here, Milord, I am a poor goldsmith. It is true, I made these dancers come many times to my door. I gave her excuses because I could not finish making her jewelry before I finished the rich merchant's orders. They had a wedding coming and they wouldn't wait. You know how impatient rich men are. Then what happened, you see? When the goldsmith was asked, so what did he tell over there? Let's see here. The goldsmith told his stories before the honorable king. He told over there, yes, it is true that he met the dancers many times to come and down on the road, and it is because he could not finish his work in the due time, and further special reason is there behind, and that reason is that he had accepted a work. That means he was ordered by the rich merchants to make his jewelry because he had a wedding that was coming soon, and he did not wait a little bit and made him to do his work first, and it is because of that only the goldsmiths could not make or could not finish the work of that old lady. That means the rich merchant forced to the goldsmiths to finish his work earlier. Then only he will do the other works for other people. And it is because of that he could not finish the dancer's jewelry and made her up and down the air. And he also told, moreover, he told about the rich merchants that they are very impatient. And it is because of him only he made the dancers come and down along the road many times. And what happens? Listening this, the king told, who is this rich merchant? The king searched for an inquiry. Who is this rich merchant who kept you from finishing this poor woman's jewelry, made her walk up and down? Who is distracted this bricklayer, who has made a mess of this wall, who has now fallen on an innocent man and killed him? Can you name him? Then what happened you see here? So listening all these stories from the goldsmith, the king wanted to know the culprit, wanted to know the merchant who made him stop to finish the work of that poor lady, and which leads the murder of that poor man. He wanted to know that person. Then what happened you see? The goldsmith named the merchant, and he was none other than the original owner of the house whose wall had fallen. Now justice had come full circle, thought the king, back to the merchants. When he was rudely summoned back to the court, he arrived crying, "It wasn't me, but my father who ordered the jewelry. He is dead. I am innocent." Then what happened you see? So when the king came to know who was that rich merchant, and he thought that the cases come to a complete circle. That means, so the main culprit was the owner of that house. That means the rich merchant there. So he learned from the goldsmith that nobody was there. That means nobody was there except that owner of that house. That means he was the main culprit there. That means he came out as the main culprit there, and he was rudely summoned to the royal court. Then see what happened, children? So now justice has come full circle, thought the king back to the merchants. When he was rudely summoned back to the court, he arrived crying. And see, children, here, when he was summoned to come to the royal court, and he came to the court crying, "It wasn't me, but my father who ordered the jewelry. He is dead, I am innocent." And you see what happened? It wasn't me, but my father who ordered the jewelry. And the rich merchant stood over there, that it was not, that means he was not there. It was his father who ordered the jewelry. Now he is already dead, and He is innocent, he is telling about that. That means he was innocent, he is telling here. But the king consulted his ministers and ruled decisively. Then what happened is here? But the king consulted his ministers and ruled decisively. It is true. Your father is the true murderer. He is dead, but somebody must be punished in his place. You have inherited his riches as well as his sins. I knew once, even when I first set eyes on you, that you were at the root of this horrible crime. You must die. Then what happened? You see, the rich merchants told over there that it was not his fault and he was very innocent, because that had happened during his father's time, and his father is no more. Here he is passed away from this universe. So then what happened? And so listening such type of words from the mouth of that rich merchants, the king consulted his ministers, and after consulting his ministers, the honorable king declared over there, yes, it is true that your father is the true murderer, but he is no more right now. But instead of him, someone will have to be punished, because you have inherited everything. You have inherited his riches, and you have inherited his sins also, and it is because of that you will have to be punished. Punishment will be given you. So this is what the king told. Also he told that from the beginning, when he saw him, he knew it well enough from his first look towards him that he was the main culprit. So children, then what happened is here, and he told about there that he must die. That means the rich merchant must die, and he ordered a new stage to be made ready for the executions. And you see, फांसी का फंदा arrange किया गया for the executions of the rich merchants, and the order a new stage, and he ordered a new stage to be made ready for the executions, as the servant sharpened the stake and got it ready for the final impaling of the criminal. It occurred to the ministers that the rich merchant was somehow too thin to be properly executed on the stake. He appealed to the king's common sense. The king too worried about it. Then what happened is here. So when he was ordered to put on a stake, then what happened is here, and the ministers found the rich merchant as a very thin one, understood, which is not suitable for the punishment to him, and he appealed for his, and the minister appealed the king's common sense there. The king also too worried about that, understood. That means king also worried over there, understood, yes, because he was a very thin person. For the stake or for the punishment, a healthy man should be there. He thought about there, understood. So what shall we do? He said, and when suddenly it struck him that all they needed to do was to find a fat enough to feed the stake. So to feed the stakes, a well healthy and fat person is needed for that. Criminal is needed for that. Okay. And the servants were immediately sent all over the town looking for a man who would feed these pigs. And you see, what happened? You see here, all the servants were over there to search for a man who is fit for this pig. Understood? And their eyes fell on the disciple who had fattened himself for months on banana and rice and the wheat and the ghee. And you see, while searching in the town, they found the disciple who was fattened himself, having lots of foods, banana, ghee, rice, etc. So children, this is what this was with this paragraph, and we'll keep it here, and we'll see in our next class the rest part of it.
हाय फ्रेंड्स, ऐसे नए वीडियो देखने के लिए हमारे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करें।